history has shown this is how you act in the past. No, we're not doing that. Like, I trust them. You just gonna have to trust my judgment, and I'm gonna have to trust yours.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it. It's gonna have to just
Right? That's
stay
just
there.
how it's gonna have to be.
Yeah.
Right? I'll let you. I'll let you as a courtesy. I will let you know that I'm dating somebody, and that they are gonna be around the kid when they're gonna be around the kids. But if you've been acting a fool, I don't need to meet each other because you don't know how to act.
Because you need to stop it right there, because
Yeah.
it's not gonna work. So basically, you just saying like, just trust. You have to trust me. Basically, you have to trust whoever is in that type of relationship, and the other parent is not. They just ain't with it. They're off the handle type of person. You just know it's kind of like, listen, because you have to move on.
Yeah.
Like, you have to move on, and sometimes they're holding on to something. I don't know what they're holding on to, what it might be.
Yeah.
They're holding on to something, and they don't want to see you, just be great.
Yeah. Yeah. They trying to control how you. Still, a lot of those situations, people are still trying to control how you live your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't allow that. Right? You got to move on. You got to live your life. You deserve to be in a good, happy, healthy relationship. So if they can't deal with that's their problem to deal with.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation where you had to work with someone and the other parent just wasn't involved at all? Like, and where they're trying to make something happen. And so basically this person is, I'm gonna talk about from this angle. This person's dating, I had someone who she's dating a guy who had children, and the other parent just was not involved. Just the mom just was not there. Or I'll stop right there because I have another situation, but the other parent just wasn't involved. And so they're like, I don't know, how I view that, what I'm saying? So what, from the person that's dating that person, like, how should they perceive that? If they're going into a relationship and the other, maybe, and it could be where, they broke up, or the mom just is not there, or whatever it is, however they broke up. But if I'm dating you and I know that this is out there, it's a weight that I might be feeling, because I have to step into that role now. I'm most likely going to have to be the stepmom, and knowing that the mom is not there, like, give your perspective on that. What's your take on that? How could you go about that particular relationship if that's the case?
Well, I think like communication is the answer to most of these things, right? Like so first I got to know for myself, am I prepared to do that? Right? Am I prepared to take on this role as a potential stepmom to whoever, however many kids there may be?
Yeah.
Secondly, I need to find out what this other person's expectations of me are. Maybe they don't expect that from me. Right? So like, the one thing I cannot do is I can never assume anything.
Yeah.
So I can't go into a situation and assume you want me to be a stepmom, you want me to come in and teach them how to, help them do laundry, you want me to cook meals, prepare lunches and all this. Find out what this person expects of you. As your partner, what do you need? What do you need from me? What are your expectations as far as my role in your kids' life? Right? And let them express what their expectations are, and you determine whether or not you can deal with that. Whether or not that's something that you're ready for. And then you get to make a decision. Like, this is for me or it's not for me. Right? So but what I can't do is I can't make any assumptions. I can't assume that just because the kids are with you and that, maybe you hard to deal with because it's your fault that they mom not around, or the other person not around. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? What did you do that make this other parent not want to come around? I can't assume anything.
Yeah.
I ask, if I do have assumptions, I do my best to resolve those assumptions with questions.
Ooh, that's good. And I think that's the key right there. I know that I didn't know how to dive into that. I remember when I was out there dating before I met my husband, and I was open to dating men with children, I was scared to ask questions because I didn't know what to ask. Like, I didn't know what to ask to get to the point. So if I knew he was a good father, like, what happened in the relationship, is this going to be, I don't want no baby mama drama. I just want to date you. I want to be there for kids. Like, it was so much that went on in my mind where I didn't even know how to ask certain questions that I needed to see if it was, because all I dated was men with no children. And so it's a part of it was a part of me that's like, there's a huge weight there. Like, like, so how do you ask those questions?
I think
like,
that's
when
natural.
should you start asking those questions like that? Like, and what type of questions should you? I know I threw a lot of stuff.
No, you good. I think that's normal. And like, I think you got to, for me, I think like you got to do whatever you can to stop the inner chatter, the inner noise, right? Because like these things that you're saying, like, I don't know how to ask it. Like, I'm wondering this, I'm wondering that. There's no way to resolve that. Like all you're doing is gonna go keep spinning in your own mind. So like when you dating somebody, I think for me personally, I need to be able to communicate with people, right? And if you're somebody who I can't communicate with and ask like questions that's gonna impact me, then that seriously impacts my one desire to even date you, right? So can we talk about hard things? Yeah. Right. That's part of the criteria that I expect in a partner. Can we discuss hard things? Yeah. And if we can't, then maybe that's an eliminator for me even being with you. Right. But everybody is not the same. Right. So I can't expect everybody to be like me. But what I can ask, a question that I can ask is, hey, listen, there are a lot of things that I'm curious about. Are there any questions that are out of bounds? Right, are there any topics that you feel uncomfortable discussing? And what are my left and right limits? Like, let me know. Is there anything that's out of bounds? Because I'm curious I like you, and I'm curious about some things. And so see how open they are to communicating with you. If they give you a free pass, right? If they say no, nothing's out of bounds. Like, ask me what you want to ask me. I'm an open book. All right, here we go. Like, I'm gonna ask what I want. So see how open somebody is, like, because like you said, you don't want to go because you don't want to rub like people coming on dates. You don't know people, like they might be. You don't want to rub somebody the wrong way if you don't have to.
Exactly.
So,
but it's best
ask them what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, and that's the key. Just having those, you got to have those hard conversations, especially if you're trying to bring someone else into your life and you're trying to invite them in. You got to have some point of vulnerability that has to be met. And so I want to know, like, how is a relationship? Like, what happened? What? And it's not to get too deep in the details, but sometimes you got to know, because I'm like, what am I getting?
Well, that was interesting.
Listen, we are just here to say thank you for watching and listening from the bottom of our hearts. Your support means the world.
And we can't do this without you.
So, the algorithm don't algorithm if you don't like, subscribe, and share. So please go ahead and do so at this time.